3-point game with 8 minutes to go. Where did it kind of get away from there?
I just thought if we could have came back and won this game, it would have been a shame. It really would have. I thought Nebraska, they played harder than us, and they were more ready to play. And for a team that played Friday night on the road, you'd think it'd be the flip of it. But give Nebraska credit. I thought those guys were, hooked up, and they played hard, and we tried to take away some of what they tried to do, especially from a transition standpoint and keeping the ball out of the paint. And they played a good game, and they got a couple really good guards, and we tried to make it hard on them, and both those guys played with pretty good discipline and made some shots there at the end. But when we cut it there to, I don't know if it was 2 or 4, was it 2? We drew up a couple things. We went away from what we were trying to do, on the one play, and we just didn't. We had some empty possessions, and we needed to get them on their heels. We needed to obviously take the lead. Anytime you can take a lead after being down as much as we were, I think it can really help you and it can swing the momentum, but we just weren't able to do that.
Were you happy with your shot selection tonight? Or?
Yeah, our shot selection wasn't that bad. And when you shoot that many air balls, you think that, at the end of the day, but, you can watch film and, go back. The ball was at the rim so much. We missed, the beginning of the second half, I told him, I said, we've really played well here, but we've missed 3 straight layups. And so, the score doesn't show that. And then the next 5-minute surge, we started making some shots, and then we started to cut into their lead a little bit. But in the first half, we just had to make them pay, and we got the ball down low, and didn't get a lot, accomplished. I think we had 10 offensive rebounds at half from our 2 big guys, but yet, we weren't converting those layups, and we had to do a better job with that. You get one guy who gets 10 offensive rebounds, and the other one gets 4, and you get 19 as a team. You got to be able to score more points than that.
Could you give us a little update on Harms? How's he doing?
They just said he was. I got it secondhand. They thought he was in the concussion protocol probably. He didn't seem to have his wits about him when I went over there to look in his eyes. He was dazed. So I didn't see the play. The play was away from me. I kind of saw what happened, but it's so hard to kind of see what happened.
What are the challenges that Mac really presents for a team?
Well, Mac's a good player. He's fast. He can break you down off the dribble. Tonight, you watch him on film, and he gets out of control, or especially early in the season. And we needed him to get out of control, and he didn't. He really showed poise tonight, and he showed discipline. He handled the game. And obviously, he's not a prolific 3-point shooter, but he was selective, and all 3 of those threes were huge. But just you look at him. You have a triple-double. You run the team. You play 35 minutes. I thought he was great. But just his overall athleticism and his ability to break you down is the biggest challenge. But a lot of times you get those guys that are faster than hell. They're not great decision makers. I thought tonight, he was great in his decision making. And as you kind of watch backwards on tapes, you watch the most recent game kind of going back outside of maybe one game, you could see the improvements that he's making in terms of his decision making. But he was the best player on the floor tonight.
As you watched film on Nebraska overall, how much better do you feel like they are now than maybe at the beginning of the year?
Oh, they were awful at the beginning of the year. You watch them on film, you don't show it to your team. And you watch them, a week and a half ago, and against Creighton, they're down 37-7 or whatever it is. You don't, but then you see that effort against Indiana, and you're like, oh, I hope that team doesn't show up. I was hoping the team that played Creighton showed up, and but give them credit, man. It's hard. You get your doors blown off. And you go somewhere to be able to regroup and then, have a game where it's just 1 point away, especially on the road at Indiana, a tough environment. And then to, have to regroup again and to play the way they did tonight, give them credit. I thought Burke was great. I thought Mac was great. Thor's been solid. He had a great game against Indiana, but he had a great game tonight. Their guys just outplayed our guys.
That's just the turnovers that led to points for them. Was that their pressure forcing that? Was that mistakes on your part?
No, we only had 9 turnovers.
Right, but they had 13 all.
Yeah, I can go through each one of them. We had 3 of them from one of our big guys. A couple of them are trying to feed the post to get it inside. And, but more than anything, if you're trying to get the ball inside and feed the post, you got to be able to deliver, but it's a 2-way street. The bigs got to help also. But they were better than us.
What do you want Travion to take out of this game?
He got 18 and 16 kind of sleepwalking. He's an unbelievable rebounder. I mean, he's as good a rebounder as I've been around. You know, Swanigan was better than him because Swanigan went hard every time. Swanigan wanted every one of them. And that's what he's got to be able to see. He could put up, if he goes hard, you know, he's a load, man. He's a tough matchup. So we just got to get him to be, you know, be consistent and be disciplined. And but when you put him in there, man, you got to put somebody of size on him. But, you know, he did some good things. He did some good things today. You know, we're on him like you don't back up off of talent. You know.
Like the third straight season that the Big Ten's had these early December conference games. I'm just curious what your thoughts on that is, if it's good for the teams or not.
Yeah, it's good for us. We need to play as many games against good people as we can. So play more conference games. Those fans don't want to see you play some directional school from the West Coast. These are maybe the best fans outside of Purdues in the country. You like the way I threw that in there? No, they are. They're great. They don't want to see that. Hey, you pay money to come see people. They want to see you play Big Ten people, you know. And so some coaches don't like it. Coaches that get older, especially guys that are in their 60s and 70s, they've just done it for such a long time, and they want their season to take off and they want to build. But we got to have a relevant basketball season in November and December. We just can't let it just be football season and we're just playing games that doesn't matter. Now games are mattering. You know, and so I think it's great. I wish we could have won tonight, but that's got nothing to do with playing 2 games. They were just better.
This group to rebound so quickly Tuesday at Ohio.
Just be confident in yourself more than anything. You know, we had a lot of guys doubting themselves out there. You know, just take shots that are there. We got good shots. You know, score the ball at the rim, be ready to shoot. You know, have a short memory. You know, we have to play better. And you know, as a coach, you got to be ready to play. Like, you know, I thought Nebraska was more ready to play than we were.
Coach, you won 9 games your first year at Purdue. I'm curious what
It was a great year. It was a lot of fun.
I'm curious what you think of in terms of first-year coaches and talking about Nebraska.
Right.
How hard is it that first year when you're taking over a new program and
Well,
what you've seen so far of improvement?
Well, their story's not over. You know what I mean? Like, you don't, like, you know, they showed a great glimpse of what they could be on the road other night. Then they get a good home win, so I think it's a good home win. So they're still writing their story. You know, Fred's experience. He's been in the college game. He's been in the pro game. He's been around basketball his whole life. You know, he's going to do a great job here. And but it's hard piecing it together. You know, I go and watch every time we play somebody. I go and watch last year's game. Like, what's the point of watching last year's game just to see Thor for 8 minutes? You know what I mean? Like, what's the point? You know, that's the first time I've ever done that. It's like, you know, so. But that should give credit to him. You know, you can see the development. You can see those guys getting better. But no, he'll do great here.
Is there anything else?
Thanks, man.
Thanks. No problem.